Okay. So we'll go into our workshop portion, and a lot of it was already discussed, so I'll allude to who discussed it. There are things on the meeting tonight that code, fire, water, police, our department has actually discussed, so we'll go over. The first, yes.
There was brought to my attention a question about Airbnbs. Maybe before GPIs we have them weigh in on the policy if there's someone calls about an issue with Airbnb. If you're still there, if you're staying.
You staying?
A good time to re-talk about that.
Is that bed and breakfast? B&B, I always wondered what that was.
Yeah, air bed and breakfast.
Air bed, and I don't know what the air is.
Me neither. I haven't figured it out either.
There's rented over the web. So you Airbnb.
Oh, air.
So
Really? There's that one
No.
guy that.
No.
Thank you. You learn something new every day.
So is there an enforcement, is there an issue that came up?
I received, a resident reached out to me, one of our, Buffalo Avenue, is it Buffalo Avenue again?
It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, it has. I think they did call the police finally at 3 o'clock in the morning. I know, based on what our solicitor researched, and I know from what we found out with code, there's only so much we can do because the people going there are only going there for a day or two. So we can't do it.
Less than 72 hours.
Exactly, we can't do anything. But their concern was the noise,
Just about anything.
the noise.
What's got to happen is they've got to call us. And when we respond, if that's the way we want to handle it, we want to lay the heavy fist down and levy hand it, we'll do it.
I think they finally did call.
That's really the key, is they finally did call. They usually wait until it's gotten them so irritated
Right.
that it's 3 o'clock in the morning. It didn't just start at 3 in the morning.
Right.
It probably started around 10. And they got to that stress level of 3 in the morning, and then by that point, they're just enraged. Instead of calling us the first time they hear something, and our first appearance is usually enough, because we followed up with, next time we come back, you're getting a ticket. And that's usually enough. And the tickets aren't cheap. They run between $200 and $1,000, I believe, depending on what our judge sees fit. But that's usually enough.
Chief, let me ask you this, and I'll bring Tim into this as well. There's, in Atlantic City is starting to do it. It's, they have an ordinance on the books that's a service call. If you have over a certain number of service calls to your house, whether it be fire, police, whatever, there's fines that can be issued. You can be, not fines, necessarily fees. There's service call fees. You get to a certain level. We hopefully don't have that problem very often. But if we have a certain address where we know there's one on Buffalo Avenue.
But if it's got to be the same people.
Absolutely, no, the same house.
We used to have the animal house. The same house isn't always occupied by the same person.
But it's the same owner. It's the same owner, and it can go to the owner of the property, because that's how they handle an AC. I'll see what ordinance they have. I'll give a copy of it to them.
Yes, send a copy. AC tends to live on that fringe area of...
Well, no, where I work, we have an issue with boarding houses there.
Oh,
So that's how they're addressing it. It's a public safety issue. They have a certain particular boarding house that has had over 550 some service calls in a 12-month period, roughly 12, 14-month period. That's a lot to one property.
it is, and we don't have... If we had 5,
Right.
but we don't get to that point. If we go there once or twice,
Right.
that's usually enough for us to issue a ticket, and that's done.
But what I want to get to is a point where, specifically this one on Buffalo Avenue, there is an owner there that does this. That sends.
I'm aware of it. Listen,
So what I want to look at is, we'll set, if we get more than 5 calls here, we're going to call the owner, we're going to have a conversation.
I'm with you.
If we're going to get more than 10 calls, there's a couple $1,000 fine involved with it. Because it's taking our guys, your guys, off the street for doing important police work to bother with guys making too much noise.
Quality of life issue, that's always been a thing.
Exactly.
It's all important to us.
Exactly.
It is important, but you gotta get something that sticks and something that's been tested, as Tim knows. So, I mean, it may take some research to see what is the best avenue to take. But for now, we'll just issue with what's on the books.
Right.
Disorderly conduct is a beautiful thing.
90%.
It's a very wide, kind of broad stroking sort of,
90% of the Airbnb rentals are fine. You have the bad apples.
It's one.
Well,
It's really one that we can continue running. But I mean, really, we're talking about one property. It's a property that has always been a still on our side. I mean, we know where it's at. It's there.
Can we reach out to the owners and have a conversation with them?
Yes. Absolutely. You can. Listen, I'll talk to anybody.
Right. I mean, yeah, I'd like to sit down.
Either one of us, man, depending on our mood, man, it's frank. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask a question?
I was going to suggest that, if it's only one property, rather than going through adoption of whole ordinances, things like that,
Yes.
maybe a courtesy call to the owner and say, look, this is what's happening, you know, we don't want to do this, but we're going to start cracking down on you, so you take care of it first.
Okay.
Well, here's,
I can set that up. I'll get the information from Jimmy A. and we'll talk about that. But in the meantime, let's make sure our ordinance is something we can issue on and something that can stick, because that's always
the noise ordinance.
it's not always the noise though. It's not always just the
Okay.
noise.
Okay.
Sometimes it's the disorderly conduct aspect, sometimes it's the animal house
You
aspect.
can do the animal house, but that takes 3 years, 3 times in a 12-month period.
Correct, which usually falls into that, this house is one. You know, it depends on who they have, who they're running to. So listen, we'll make it work. I'll work on that.
Here was another issue the resident said, and I guess this would be code, Lance. I know about the CO in 72 hours, but if the home has a CO, say for 12 people, an occupancy,
The home has an occupancy level. If they exceed that,
that's what's happening.
we can issue a violation on that from code.
I thought
Tell me
so,
about that.
but it's Saturday or Sunday, nobody's around.
Well, we talked about deputizing or finding out what we can do, because if the police department, I'd get a couple of guys per shift. If it's taking a course or something, we can look into that, getting it certified for just that one aspect of code violation. We can do it ourselves.
Can a police officer just take note of how many beds and how many people are in the house that are staying there?
Almost every ordinance I write that deals with issues like that, I put a clause in there that the police are also able to enforce that.
But I don't think we have that in ours.
It might not have been done.
And that's what we've been lacking.
So it's.
We're willing to do it.
Yeah.
CO violation, it doesn't do any good if we don't issue on the spot.
Right.
Right.
Because we're proving it, we can write down on the ticket, 3 families were here, so many beds were filled. And then if we send Pam in on a Monday and there's one person there.
Right.
So I would much rather take on responsibility and do it that way.
Right.
You know what I'm
Because,
saying?
yeah, the
So-
resident explained that there was definitely more than allowed. I mean, there were 7 cars.
But that's what we need to get the allowable amount. So when we know when a bus pulls up and they unload 30 people, we
Right.
know that there's only 8 people allowed to be in that house. But if we get that to the owner and let him know in advance, we're not only gonna tag the people who drive off, we're gonna hit you too.
Right.
And so it's gonna have a little cascading effect, so I'm with you on that.
But it has to be called, the call then has to be made while it's taking place,
Right.
not to you after the fact, but
That was my next
to the
point,
department.
is we really need to
Otherwise-
focus people on calling us.
Yeah.
I mean, calling you is great, but calling you and then you calling me, then me calling the guys, it's like pass it down the,
Right.
down the lane. I would much rather get people comfortable with calling us,
Yeah.
Okay,
and that's really what it comes down to.
that's fine. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, may we? So, we'll start our workshop portion of the meeting. We will have a motion to approve the minutes of our regular meeting and workshop from last month. The next item we have on here is we will introduce an ordinance, City of Ventnor, extending the existing lease between the City of Ventnor as the landlord to the Viking Brewing Foundation as a tenant. And I think the one thing that is spelled out, which a lot of residents had questioned over the last summer or two, is it will be, there will, the dock, it's the dock area, right, Tim?
Yes.
The dock area, the residents will have access from dawn to dusk, am I correct?
During the season when the boathouse is being used for its intended purpose between May 15th and September 15th, also allowing crabbing during those hours. With the lease agreement, we added an addendum that stipulates no swimming, that there's no lifeguard on duty to help us from a liability standpoint, no loitering, no alcoholic beverages, and we'll get a sign made up, and the boathouse will continue to do the good work that it does.
Great.
Over 300 kids a year go through that program.
Great, wonderful. So we will introduce that ordinance tonight. The next ordinance we're going to introduce is an ordinance where the city establishes regulations for clothing donation bins in the city of Ventnor. And going over it, you're not allowed to have it near a school or on school property. any city property, any residential area, and any nonprofit who is putting up a donation bin would need to obtain a permit. Anybody want to say anything else on that?
Nope.
Okay. The next, we will be introducing an ordinance for our electric vehicle charging stations. I know we're only introducing the ordinance, but to my memory, these are going where the library is, am I right? The parking lot behind the library? Was that where they were going to be designated?
This one is, there's a couple.
I thought there was going to be at least one or two there.
Right,
Yeah,
that's the location I remember, I didn't see
Honestly,
it in
Ski Beach.
there. Okay,
We're not set yet, we're
Okay.
parking the
Right,
grant.
fine. okay.
Is this one deal with land use, we do that last one?
Yeah, this is the
This is where.
standards. Okay.
This helps us with our green team.
Right,
stuff.
sustainable
Yeah.
communities,
Sustainable-
yes.
Sustainable down beach is what it's.
Yes. The next, we will be introducing an ordinance modifying Chapter 102 of the code, and this is creating standards for roof mounting of solar energy systems. This is under our code,
Yes.
and this is also for sustainable down beach.
That as well as it clears it up in our land use, allows them as a permanent accessory use on the structure, not in a yard, not ground mounted arrays, things of that nature.
Be on the roof. Right, okay. The next, we will have a public hearing and the adoption of an ordinance, which this is what Jimmy spoke on, residential 7 district, and he explained the areas and what it does. It allows the old homes getting demolished, if so be, and become a
What it does is it creates a more system that is more consistent with the municipal land use law. They were doing that before, but it was not quite the way it should have happened. Now it's,
Now we'll have it.
I don't want to say it was being done illegally before.
Was it being done properly?
No.
Okay.
Is there, isn't this something that we should get out to the real estate community and?
Well, they're aware. I mean, that's why there's 3 of them waiting to get approved.
Yeah, but I think there could be more. I think, is this something we should?
We've been trying to meet with our real estate agents for a while. We haven't been able to set that meeting up. I want to try and do that still, so maybe this is a good impetus to do it.
Yeah, it's a good agenda topic anyway. I mean, just talk about it in a 360 way, what it can do for those areas.
Yeah, and that, and maybe other ordinances.
Well, just in general,
Right.
the aspect of our master plan, I'm going to reach out to the North Beach group, because we're amending that redevelopment plan that is up in that area.
Right.
The corridor that runs along Ventnor Avenue, we're amending that to hopefully promote some development in that area, in a positive manner. Commercial development. so.
Right. I think this is I think it's a keystone for that kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. The next, we will have a public hearing and adoption of the ordinance where we have, it's our salary ordinance. The only thing this is changes from last year, and that's because of contracts that were settled after last year's adoption of our salary ordinance. Some title changes, some promotions, things like that. Number 8 and number 9 will be public hearing and adoptions of ordinances with one of Atlantic City with Ventnor and one with Margate, and that is the mutual aid assistance agreement between the city's fire departments. And that is what Chief Cahill spoke on when he gave his report. Resolutions by consent will be voted on. A through D are tax abatements, properties that qualify for the tax abatement. The next is, actually there's 2 of them. Resolution 130 is amending last year's, adding the date, and Resolution 131 is this year. We are approving participation in the state New Jersey Safe and Secure Community Program administered by the Department of Criminal Justice, Department of Law and Public Safety. And what this is it's a 50% match. So the total cost of the program is $120,000. The city has to match $60,000, and $60,000 are grant funds. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. So that is resolution E and F. The next resolution by consent will be, they had to change the route for the April Fool's Marathon, which is this Sunday, April 15th. We did this last week, but we have to do another ordinance because the route has changed. The next resolution by no, they're just different streets. The next three resolutions, the next three resolutions, 2018 133, 134, and 135 are all Teamster contracts. These are contracts that were, it gives me the authorization to execute them, and they're amended contracts for title changes, clerical titles, changing from a, pump communications to a pump operator, or whatever, it's title changes, right?
No, the first one is a title change.
The first one?
Communications Dispatch Chief Biagi is changing the structure of the dispatch unit.
Okay.
And he is deleting a position that includes a scheduler, and he's adding a supervisor of public safety telecommunicating. So this had to be, the contract has to be amended for that because the contract's very specific as to the specific titles that are under this contract and what they get paid. So this is a promotion for someone currently in the communications. It nets $3,000 because more than likely the person handling the scheduling duty that currently gets $1,000, that'll come out and the promotional stipend will go in. The next two are clarifications on the Public Works contract and the clerical contract. It's not really changing anything, but it's clarifying some of the language to make it clearer what is meant by a multiple title and what that garners for a multiple title, and what is meant by a promotion or job openings. That job openings, for example, are not lateral moves, but they're promotions, which garner the $1,500 that's already in this contract, but it wasn't really clear how that works. So these next, the Public Works and the communication, or the clerical contract, kind of clarifies the existing language.
And then we should be done with this contract, I hope?
I hope, unless something else comes up that's confusing, but we're trying to get it down in writing, so there's not, well, this is how we've done it in the past, and none of us can find anything where it says it was done like that in the past.
Right.
So, you know, something should come up that surfaces, and we could be back to you saying, all right, we need to clarify this.
But at least we have a process now.
Yeah.
And right now, it's kind of a mismatch. He's doing this job. I get everybody in title.
Right.
In title.
And it gives something for finance to stand by on what they do and why
Right.
they're doing it too.
Right. It's an audit trail.
From this format of the meeting to how each of our department heads are reacting to that and getting reports, getting us more involved, getting us more information about the other departments that we're not involved in. This stuff is just, I think, I guess what we're trying to say is I think the city itself as a whole is moving into a more professional operating system. Absolutely. That's how I see it, and this is another step in that. And that, from Ernie to the chief and the rest of the guys, all the department heads coming here giving us these reports, I think it's just showing how we're trying to move this city in a positive direction. But it's working.
We're interacting more than we ever have to with department heads. So it's
Which is
just
perfect.
It's, like I said, cascading.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And we can make more educated decisions on ourselves.
Agreed.
The next two resolutions, 136 and 137, were what Ernie, our head of our water department, explained. One has to do with the cold water meters. It is allowing us to go out for bid to purchase that, and the other one is the standard X single Turner valve maintenance trailer, correct?
Correct.
Both are authorizing the commission to go out for bid for these items.
One question on the maintenance trail, maybe turnabout. Are we trying to, we're going to pay for that through our EIT and JEIT monies? Hopefully.
I'm sorry, is this water and sewer related?
Yes.
Is this something new?
No, the valve turner, no, it's not going to go through the NJEIT. We're just going to do it from the ordinance that we have.
Because Because we asked, I simply asked the guy that question when we were there that day, he said that it would qualify.
We did, and we sent it off to them, but the time frame it would take them to review all of the specs and give the okay and all of that was too long. We actually had submitted it to them, and then Ernie came back and said he really needs it, he can't wait any longer. And they also said, you know, it's, what, $50,000, that's the estimated cost.
Well, what they told us is group these together, give them as we need them.
Yeah.
And once they get to a full number, they will.
Yeah.
And actually, what they told us too is that they would establish a line of credit. So if we did trickle in these smaller amounts, they would accumulate them. This is why we have a conference call with them coming up, because,
I'm not losing my mind. It's
no. And I actually talked,
Losing my mind. I saw the facial expression.
yeah. We had some conversations too with the FA regarding this,
Right.
and he was saying he believes what they meant is if the piece of equipment is connected to a project that we're doing, then it's fundable.
It is.
So,
The state is requiring us to work these valves to make sure
Right.
they all function properly. So when there's a water main break,
mhm,
we can go turn it off and isolate that break.
mhm.
I've been involved in it here, and it's.
So we're all getting on the phone with them. I think it's next Monday. Tora's going to be traveling. She'll call in. I'll come in, and Ed, probably Ernie, our FA, because we even went on their website. Like, where do you start? And it's not clear. Like, what's the first step? So we're going to work that out.
Right.
Because the whole, like I said, the whole process changed. So those of us who were involved in it in the past, it's different.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Okay. The next resolution is a change order on well 7, and the amount increased by 4,000, and that, Ed spoke on that, didn't he?
Yes.
Was that- Okay. The next resolution is, where am I reading? Oh, this is, we're increasing our, where am I here? Our bond counsel for financing, mainly because, from what I understand, he did a lot of work closing out old debt.
Yeah.
Right, so that's more than we anticipated when we did the original,
Plus,
okay?
we had also given him some work to do with the valve turner and all of that. to
Okay.
Move it on.
Great, okay. So that, I think that's a $10,000 increase, and that's the reason why. The next is a resolution to sell that property, Block 50, Lot 14, also known at 5008 Ventnor Avenue. And that's the one that we own between 2 properties. So the only person that could buy it is the owner of the 2 properties, which happens to be the same owner. Am I
If it's
right?
smaller than development size, yes.
Right.
It must be off to the contiguous properties.
So that sold for 50,000. The next resolution is authorizing the hiring of employees for the city of Ventnor. This is the recent hires that we did for Public Works, which replaced vacancies.
Hold on a second, the bat phone's ringing. They're calling you. Commissioner Gordon? No idea what it's all about. Not a clue.
I know what you're talking about, Batman. I used to watch Batman and Robin, I know. What? That's weird. Oh, okay, so that resolution was to hire the 3 vacancies at Public Works. The next resolution, where am I at?
That's going to be pulled.
This just pulled the revocable license?
Yeah, I'm still
Okay,
waiting.
That's fine.
Their attorney has to give me more information.
Okay, so Resolution 142 is going to be pulled, and I understand before we came in here, Resolution 143 is going to be pulled.
Stop pressing the button.
I'm not touching the button.
Somebody pressed the button, that's why all the cops are here.
Which button? You have a button?
I'm just telling you.
Where? I
There's a
don't know.
button there.
Where?
We'll show you later. Whatever you're doing, stop pressing it, okay?
Me?
By the way, this is Officer Borelli and Officer Lemaine. They just saved you from yourself. Thank you, officers. Officer Fuster, Lieutenant
There's a
Fuster,
button
thank you.
underneath that.
Oh, yeah, it's not just a little, you know.
Okay.
Now we know.
Well, you know what, Chief? You have a great department. I didn't know why I thought they were just walking down to see what was going on.
So it wasn't that phone.
It was them calling,
And you hung up on the police department,
it was the police department calling us?
making sure you're okay. You're also on camera, not just that camera,
Oh, that's right, yes, I know, that camera back there, okay,
and the one right there.
okay.
You almost had it.
No, there is one right there.
I know there is one there.
Please, we already did the other revocable, irrevocable, that was, okay.
We can't like, we can't.
Yeah, he's gotta give me more information, he knows that.
We can't.
In fact, he came here this evening, and I talked to him.
He called me, and when I was talking to him, I was like, all right, so that's cool.
Does that ever happen? No. Okay, that was the first, by the way. Okay, well, it works. The next resolution, like I said, 143 also is being pulled. That is, there's clarity, you're good,
Change the scope of work on
Okay.
that project, we're gonna make sure it's fully cooked before you bring it.
Okay.
great, okay?
You writing them down, Ben?
Yes, I got them. The next is a resolution to add a surf camp to the city of Ventnor as part of our recreation. Right now, I know we have a sports camp that we offer, and we thought it would be a great idea to offer a summer sport camp. There was one last year, but that was someone privately did it. They're no longer available to do it, so we, the city, are taking that on, and we thought it would be a great thing for the children that not only live in Ventnor but visit here. We are a seashore town, so that is a resolution for that. The next one, the resolution 145 is closing out an escrow account, and that is based on when they give us the money for their improvements, and then we return it. And the last one, I think this was the one that Ernie spoke about, the repair on 1 North Suffolk Avenue in Winchester?
Correct.
Correct. And that cost us $6,000.
It's an approximate.
Right. An estimated, that's right, it says estimated $6,000. We will approve bills and payrolls, we will have workshop discussion, and at this point, I will open it up to the public if you'd like to discuss anything that we talked about before I close the workshop portion and take a 5-minute break, and then we will come back and go into our regular meeting where we will be voting on everything that I just spoke on. So do I have a motion to open to the public portion?
Motion open public?
Do I have a second?
Second the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. It is now open if anybody from the public would like to speak on any of the topics that we've discussed thus far.
Can we speak on something that was discussed a while ago? I emailed you on Michael Marino.
At the end of the meeting.
At the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay.
Motion closed?
Do I have a second?
Second the motion?
Before we close, are we going to discuss the workshop items?
You want to do that now or at the end of the meeting?
Yeah.
Well, we're in the workshop.
As well.
Second the workshop.
Okay. Let's do the workshop.
Motion rescinded?
It wasn't voted.
I think there's 2 things on the workshop, if I remember. The first one is something that
Plastic bags on the pier and bicycles on the
Yes,
boardwalk.
something that the chief alluded to earlier. Bicycles on the boardwalk. I think from what I understand, our ordinance doesn't make sense. The first thing it says that we have bike lanes on the boardwalk, which we don't.
Which we don't.
And we can't because it's not even wide enough to do.
I just think we need to adjust that, and
How about the times we go from winter to summer? Nobody knows when they're allowed or not allowed on the boardwalk. I got blamed for making somebody gain weight because I told them they weren't allowed on the boardwalk.
here's the thing, you have 2 avenues of thought with our boardwalk. You have the pedestrians who love it, I walk it, then you have your bikers. They both want their piece of the pie. The bikers, the majority of them are not dangerous. Some of them are. There has been accidents, we've had issues. So what the city's answer was in the past was to open it up during certain hours. During the weekday, I believe it's 6 to 12, up until Saturday and Sunday, no, or 6 to, it's daylight hours, isn't it?
I have it right here.
I think it's daylight hours, right?
The aforementioned vehicle shall be permitted to operate on the designated bicycle path, which we don't have.
Correct.
During daylight hours, except from July 1 to Labor Day, and Saturday and Sunday.
Which is 6 to 12.
Such vehicles shall only be permitted to operate from 6 a.m. to 12 noon.
Right.
So during the week, they can go dusk till dawn. dawn till dusk.
It depends, whatever, yeah, right.
And then on Saturday and Sunday, they have to be off by noon.
And that's
So-
July 1st to Labor Day.
Now, if you ask the pedestrians, and I don't know how many you guys walk on the boardwalk? Anybody? How do you feel about the bikes?
I don't like them.
And that's the whole thing. So you gotta, I think we have to come to an agreement as to who we're gonna cater to. I think there's more pedestrians walking up there, like myself, that enjoy the walk. You know, I'm probably gonna be hated by the bikers, but the truth is that the bikers are dangerous. They don't need to be, correct? I don't think, there's guys that set speed up there. You have your guys with their $10,000 bikes. Then you have the family people that have, you know, little Jimmy's, Billy, and Nancy, and they can't ride either. They shouldn't even have a bike license. But you want to bring them up the boardwalk because it's safer.
What about the electric bikes?
And then you have the electric bikes. Then you have the ones
They're not out on it.
that, yeah, it's usually the chubby guy on the electric bike that thinks he's losing weight, riding a moped up there, but because it has pedals, it's allowed. So, I mean, he's right. He's absolutely right.
Because they're not allowed, are they?
No, it's not. But it's almost like the ice cream backpack versus cart thing we went through. Because it's got pedals, it's considered a bike, you know. So,
So we need to,
No motorized vehicles.
there's a lot to be discussed here. But I think from a law enforcement aspect and a safety aspect, I think we need to limit, because we're not wide like Atlantic City. I forget, Ernie, how wide are we? Was it 12 foot? I forget how wide our boardwalk is.
15 feet?
15 feet. So what you have is, what you have depending on the people, we know how to queue up and stay to one side or the other. But then you have the group that's, you know, your gang members, the warrior group that's up there, that takes up the whole boardwalk, walking down a line, like the Rockettes. And, you know, and it's really tough it is tough to navigate up there. It is crazy. So, I mean, you're always getting dodged, you're always getting a guy whizzed by you. So, when we say 6 to 12 or daylight hours, except Saturday and Sunday, hey, that's great for everybody who just visits on Saturday and Sunday, but you're missing out on the locals that are up there using it all the time in the summer. So we kind of got to level out the playing field on this. And I think we have enough time, but I think we need to sit down and give it serious discussion.
you think it should be limited to 6 to 12, 7 days a
I'm
week?
not sure, but I think it's something we need to open up because it's bigger than the ice cream wheels. This is a big thing. I think it's something where if you ask the residents out there, I think overwhelmingly they would want to probably stop bikers as much as they're up there, or limit their time, correct?
Or at a minimum, put some type of speed prohibition on them. Because a
Speed
lot of
limits
people.
or get rid of
coexist.
electric bikes
Yeah.
or whatever, but we need to give it, it's scientific now, everything is like, you know.
People
Yeah.
coexist up there, but there are some people that are just, they go flying.
What?
Like flying. God forbid a little kid jumps sideways or something.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I gotta find the other side of that, the counterpoint. I think that the Ventnor's becoming more bike friendly. I think this is a good reason that we need bike lanes on Atlantic Avenue because eventually.
You're right.
I also think that we're adding bike racks in our downtown areas. We're adding them in our streetscape. There's there's bike share coming. There's things that I think that the city opens up to Atlantic City and Stockton. I think that it, and I don't see it. I don't see it that busy in the evenings as well. I think it's going to be both sides.
I think a lot of older people go out at night.
But it's our one unique. It is one of our most unique aspects. I'd rather see it open more.
For bikers?
Yeah.
And here's where I'm going to disagree, I hate to do it, but I'm going to say that on any given day, there's more walkers up there than bikers. This is me, I walk it all the time.
Yeah, right, because a lot of senior citizens will walk.
But again, we have 15 feet across. Bikers don't travel in single file.
And Chief, it's not even 15 feet because you
You got
have
the
memorial
railing
benches.
and you have the benches.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I understand the theory of wanting to be more friendly. But in the same breath, you've got to look at this from a liability standpoint is that more bikes may be great, but bike versus pedestrian, the biker wins. We have a lot of senior citizens up there. A hit by a bike can be catastrophic. catastrophic.
For
It can be, and we have it every year.
Yeah.
And it is, you can put out there, it's just like people crossing the street. You can say, hey, wait for the light, or wait till it's clear, don't step out into the walkway. They're not gonna do it.
Right.
People don't care about the rules.
Did you say in the striping line in the quantification you're trying to do for the county to help with striping, is the bike lanes mimicking Margate a part of that, something that's going to happen
We have,
soon? Or?
We have discussed this. We've been waiting to see what Margate's gonna do, whether they're gonna switch to one lane on Atlantic Avenue. There's so many ideas that are out there, but we never take advantage of it. And until we have a plan as to what we're gonna do, one is contingent upon the other. It's kind of, it flows.
We're looking for grant dollars to do the bike lanes. And it's not just striping, you want to know where you want to put them, how we're going to lay them out. We work with Jim Rotella, and actually some of the monies were requested from, it's one of the acronyms, street safety programs or something, actually for Ventnor Avenue, to include something there. Not necessarily bike lanes, maybe, but that's also part of the bike and pedestrian safety study that was done.
Right.
Recommended bike lanes similar to what Margate has now on Atlantic Avenue.
Right.
What that'll do is that'll bring the professional bikers, one guys with the $10,000 bikes, Mr. Greenville.
Right.
I don't know, 10, but it's the best bike.
I remember
That's
that
what takes those guys off.
The last administration, I don't believe it was ours, the last administration opened up the riding of the bikes on the boardwalk and took away that afternoon. If you guys remember, in the afternoon you couldn't ride on the boardwalk because that's when people were going to the beach, they were crossing over.
Right.
There was people walking from one block to another. You'd come up, walk Lafayette, walk down the Dorset on the boardwalk or whatever. So, but now you don't have that luxury because now you have people carrying their chairs and the bikes are up there whenever they want until whenever. And I think we've kind of given too much to the bikes.
Doesn't it conflict with our idea that there's not enough parking in the city to then shut bikers down?
I'm not saying shut bikers down. All I'm saying is, I'm just saying.
Well, that's an option. That takes that option away.
It's right.
It can't right.
We're going to extremes. All I'm saying is regulate the bike hours a little bit better. During prime time on the boardwalk from, let's say, noon or 11. Noon's a fair time. People are coming down to the beach with their families. You shouldn't have to worry about crossing over. And from noon to 4, I think it was, or 5, whatever it was on the boardwalk, does anybody remember? It used to be like noon to 5, they would have
No bikes.
no bikes on the boardwalk because people were going to and from the beach that were walking on the boardwalk.
Right.
You know, and I think that we've given too much to them, but that's just me. My job is public safety. That's my thing. So I'm just giving you the counterpoint.
And I think one of the things we should probably put out there to have discussion, see what the public thinks about it. I'm not in favor of restricting more bikes on the boardwalk, but you bring up good points.
Well, they're not restricted at all. Now, the thing is, they're only restricted on the weekends and they get to ride from 6 to 12.
Right.
There's no restrictions at all.
Right.
6 to 12 in the morning, that's when they can ride.
But not in the evenings.
It's a
So they
discussion.
can ride after. Right, yes.
Yeah.
Not on the weekend. The weekend, 6 to 12.
6 to 12 is all you can ride. Right. So that's what the
Monday
restriction
through
is.
Friday, they can ride it all day.
Busiest driving time. That's where I think the conflict is.
So it's just one of those things. So we talk about a bike lane in our ordinance that doesn't exist, which really should exist.
Yeah, we should amend that. And let me ask you a question on this ordinance as well. It doesn't even, the thing, A talks about all the bikes on the boardwalk. Then B says, it shall be lawful to operate a bicycle, unicycle, or adult tricycle upon any sidewalk. Should that be lawful or unlawful?
Depends on who you ask, because,
Well, the ordinance says it's lawful.
yeah, we can't tell somebody not to be on, if you have, do you want a unicycle in the street?
No.
Where do you want it? First of all, I don't know how many unicycles. I don't know how many 70s throwbacks we have. Yeah. I used to juggle too, it was amazing. But we don't have a lot of those. However, we do have quite a few seniors that ride the tricycles.
Three-wheelers, yeah.
And they have the, what they call it, incumbent. Like,
Yeah.
And those things are pretty cool, little dragsters. But it's really gonna be up to you guys, but do you want them on the sidewalk now? And most people don't even understand how to ride a bike. Most people don't know the physics of riding with traffic as opposed to riding against. Right.
I would think sidewalks should be off limits to bicycles. That should be a pedestrian's way. Your own vehicle, you should be on the cars.
Okay.
That's why.
Now, you're gonna tell Mr. and Mrs. Smith that their kids have to be in the street.
Right, and that's why.
I mean, there's a double-edged sword there.
That's
It's
why I
just,
need the bike pass, so.
and again, you're right.
There's some
But-
streets I won't get on.
There's just, like I said, we have to think of, okay, we want to make Ventnor bike friendly, but are we alienating a whole group of people that are frightened of being up on the boardwalk?
So it's a whole bunch of little things. I think we gotta combine the list and find out what's doable in the short term, near term, and midterm, and
Right,
long term.
and it's really only for those 3 months out of the
It
year,
is.
but it's, a lot can happen in that 3 months.
It's like merging onto a highway.
So, listen, I'll continue to enforce what we can, I'll have my guys up there trying to slow people down, we'll have bike units out there. I'm just saying, it is a problem, yeah.
My last comment is, when I was growing up, there was arrows that showed you to stay on the right-hand side when you're going. And that seemed to keep more people going that direction. You think that's a positive?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no, but, I mean, we can put as many arrows up there,
On
as many,
on the.
on the actual boardwalk.
They used to have painted out.
Have you ever been up there?
Yeah.
There's, I mean, I know you have.
Lots
Do you not
of-
see, do you ride single file with you? I've seen you out there. You look good in the tights and everything, but I mean, you ride 2 across, 3 across too. You're part of that group of, high fivers down there. I mean, you are. I mean, I know that, but that's part of the issue. Those guys take up and then everybody else is gonna, whoa, back up against the, here comes Regal and his crew, come by. Right, I mean, that's what it is though. So, I mean, you guys know what we're doing. So, I'm sure you're more respectable about it, but,
Do his tights match
he looks good.
the
He does.
bike, same
He looks-
color?
He looks good.
High visibility.
It's doable. It's
Orange,
doable.
green.
I
Right,
think it's a discussion we need to continue.
and I agree.
Yes.
So, but in the meantime, we need to adjust the ordinance in the meantime.
Right. Let's take out the reference to pathways.
Take out the reference to pathways, and I think we're gonna have to do a little more signage, maybe put up the Kriegel initiative of putting arrows and stuff, and,
And
I think that'll work.
when he's not single file, he gets a ticket.
He's right. I think there's still some on there, I know Atlantic City has them still. The bike run little logo in there, it's like a Ventnor combined. That is supposed to be in the center and then walkers to the outside.
Yeah, they don't listen to that either, 'cause,
I know, but
you get a family up there that's just visiting, and they've got the whole caravan with them.
Understood.
They're not walking in single file like, other
At
groups.
least it's something visual to give them an idea where they're supposed to be.
Listen, we know boardwalk, locals, we know the boardwalk etiquette. We know how to manage around it. We know how to chew over to the left or the right. We know that. We know to look over our shoulder. We know that sound of the bike whizzing up behind us, it's about to crush us. We know to jump out of the way. We just do it. We do. So not everybody does, and it's something that Commissioner Kriebel can attest to, is that there are some,
Moving on.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
The
and
next one is me, I think. We had a meeting with our peer masters. Discussion item came up, and more my question. It was something that we're going towards moving our bag ordinance forward that's going to go into effect in October to keep bags out of the ocean. Do we want to extend that onto the pier? And I put it out there to our peer committee, 50-50. That's how they bring their bait to the pier. And sometimes some people don't bring coolers, they take the fish back that they catch in a bag. So it may be just more education up on the pier to our members. I definitely want to hand out something this year to the guys and ladies that pick up their keys, saying, look, here's the rules. Part of that is some knowledge or education of what we're trying to keep plastic bags out of the ocean. We're trying to keep trash in general out of the ocean. We have them on film containers up there. They're working pretty well. I went to the surf rider meeting last week. Beth Quart and the gang there, and they empty those regularly. They're getting a lot of line out, doesn't go in the ocean, which is good. So that prompted the thought about the plastic bags, but hearing from the fishermen, fisherwomen, probably not the best idea.
no, and I
I'm
think
just thinking
besides
of-
the pier, I'm sorry,
ahead.
you got the beach. People, you got the beach and you got the world.
That was the other conversation too. When we talked about that, we started talking about the bag ordinance, where as a first impetus in the beginning of the season, as our beach badge checkers are down, they have nice bags to give out.
Right.
If someone comes down with a plastic bag, hey, give me that, here. just as something,
Right.
we talked about that, we haven't implemented anything of that nature.
Right.
And people use them as trash to take their trash off the beach too.
That's the key, take it off.
One of the thoughts, while this came up with the surf rider discussion, was that the county is looking to ban bags from their parks.
Exactly.
If they look to do something like that, maybe that's when we talk about doing something on the beach, but that's.
And then how do we enforce it? Exactly.
Well, you
Right.
can enforce it, you can enforce it, it's a rule, it's a law. But I'm not sure we're there yet, it's just something that was a discussion, wanted to bring it up and see what you guys thought.
As you're talking, I'm just thinking maybe the rule maybe to minimize plastic bags going in the ocean. Please take your plastic bags home with you.
Right. I don't know, sign.
No. The rules we do.
That we have that, right,
Yeah.
that on the pier, I think we're on the beach.
Yeah, maybe
We need that,
that's, instead of putting the bag in the trash can, that's gonna blow out into the beach.
Signs,
I don't
signs
know.
everywhere, sign.
Yeah,
All the
yeah.
public, that's what we call the signs. Sorry.
I agree.
But then if someone breaks a rule, we can't enforce it because there's no sign saying you didn't.
Right,
have a rule.
so, I mean, maybe
That's
that's,
one too. So that's why I have it on the pier guys. I added a couple other things just to chat about real quick if you want. Won't be long. Okay. All right, and I'll hold off on a couple of these.
Okay.
Just the one that the pier is going to open on Monday. Discussion about having a dog is not allowed on the boardwalk, but one of the open house nights we have on the pier, what about a dog night on the pier?
I'm for it.
Something to think about, you know, just to have a place to go. A lot of dogs are afraid of the pier. Oh yeah, they can see through it.
I don't think I'll take my new dog there. They want to swim. He's a swimmer.
Go.
He'll be jumping off over there.
So that was one of the things I thought about, so we'll talk about
Because people love their dogs.
that. Really do.
I think we gotta do whatever we can fun with dogs. It's the truth. People love their dogs, and we do have a lot of dogs
Family
here.
members.
Yeah, they are family.
So,
I got three
the
now.
next one is, I already mentioned it, the bag education has begun to ramp up a little bit. Beth and her crew are starting to do that, getting ready to do it, I should say. They're gonna have, I asked her for a statement for our website, and that rolls out, we can do that. We wanna keep the public up to date on it through our newsletters, and the next one of those goes out, we should have a little article with.
Can I just interject a little bit on the bag warning?
Sure.
I had received, actually I received a phone call from the Department Head of Intergenerational Services at the county. They had a meeting, they have an senior citizen advisory committee, and our bag ordinance came up.
Okay.
Although the one senior felt that the seniors should be, they shouldn't have to pay the fine, I think they should be exempt, thank you, Tim. There wasn't much pushback other than he felt that they should be exempt. However, the majority of the seniors there felt that what we were doing is going back to the way things used to be, and we should become more concerned with the environment. So she did send me an email, and I reached out to Monica. She was sending her some information on the education, but I just want the commission to know that
Good.
there may be more seniors that have an issue with it, so.
Okay, good. Two last little quick things. I reached out to Jim Mattel, he was here at the planning board the other night, last night, doing the redevelopment plan presentation. I talked to him about getting historic renovation grants for this building, for this room. Carpet, I'm not spending taxpayer dollars and I don't want grant money for it. So, wallpaper's peeling off, he's gonna look into it for us and get back to me.
Great.
Hopefully
Sounds
we
good.
can get a few dollars for that. It's not a huge lift, it's cosmetics. So, yes, it is.
What did he say?
That's it, that's all I got, thank you.
One brief thing for Tim. Going forward, the VBA contracts were revised. We got that. We gave an okay. We'll need to get the ordinance written for next meeting if we can. I think I have a model ordinance for it from Marty in the packet. Could you write that, or do I have the VBA write that ordinance?
If you send it to me, I'll write it. Just send me what the template is.
Okay.
And I'll take a look at it and try to make it similar.
Great.
All right?
Thank you.
No problem. Just get it to me as soon as you, in advance as you can.
Roger.
Okay, we're good.
Motion to close the workshop?
Do I have a second?
Second motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will go into our regular meeting, but we will take a 5-minute break.